Ahoy! Welcome back to Girl Historians.
I'm Carley.
I'm Blair.
This is the comedy podcast where we talk about history and our girls.
And today we're coming from you from the lovely, not where we live.
No. It looks nice though.
It's beautiful.
We should get a blush set up.
I know, we really should. We're in our friend's studio. We're in the recording zone of our podcast friends, 30 going on 13.
And what a nomadic podcast we have. It's like we record at your place, we record at my place, we record at the Sonar studio, we record here, we record outside.
We really have been like moving around way more than usual.
Yeah, I feel like most podcasts just like have a setup and stick there.
Yeah.
But it's like
this is beautiful. They have, if you can't see on camera, they've got a little thing that says 30 going on 13.
I know.
We don't have that.
I know.
We don't have anything that
We
says
really
Girl
don't.
Historians.
We really, really don't. Yeah, we just don't.
We should commission one of those big like neon signs, like those like $2,000 neon signs.
Yeah, I love that.
And then just like
that if we break, it's like toxic gas.
Yeah, and then
into
like,
the
we die immediately, and like our children come out with 3 heads.
Yeah.
I think that would be good. And then also, I think like both of us would refuse to put it up in our respective homes.
Well, yeah, I'm like, I don't want that in my home.
Yeah, like we commission it, but we'd never really talk about like who's actually going to put it up.
And then it arrives and we're like, well, it has to go up somewhere.
Yeah, it has to go up somewhere, and we put it up in like a bathroom.
Yeah.
And the bathroom is just like notoriously lit.
Yeah, and it's not safe for the neon gas.
No. We're not even thinking about the safety of the gas.
No, and that's what's sick.
And no one talks about it.
No.
Because of cancel culture.
Because of woke.
Because of woke. Anyway, how are you doing today?
Okay, I'm tired now.
I'm tired too. Can we say?
I think
that
so.
We
I
did?
mean, I'm wearing the merch.
Oh my God, you're wearing the merch. I'm wearing the merch too,
But it's backwards.
my merch is backwards. I didn't think to turn it back around.
Yeah, we did a photo shoot for our merch today.
The Girl Historians merch.
This has been...
/ the Young Carley merch.
Yes. Which I feel like will be out
too.
soon. It's launching at the end of June. So watch the space.
Watch the space. When's this coming out? Not the end of June. But you know what? It's a teaser.
Teaser.
So we did that today, and getting your photo taken,
I'm dead.
exhausting.
I'm dead. I'm super sleepy.
Yeah.
I got to go to dinner with Reese's dad this evening.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's at a really good restaurant. I was like, I don't know if I want to go. And then I looked at the restaurant. It was really nice.
Whoa, where?
Oh, I don't know what it's called. But it's like vegan Malaysian food. It's like a pop-up that's apparently really, really good. And it's like at a restaurant that I believe is just a regular restaurant. I don't know if it also serves Malaysian food or whatever. But then it's got a vegan Malaysian pop-up permanently, and it looks really, really good.
Beautiful.
So I was like, I want to come.
I love when there's a little pop-up.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's the problem. I'm also going to a queer
You're going
games
to
night today
queer
with my
board game
girlfriend's
night,
law
yeah.
firm, which, I mean...
And what a sentence.
And what a sentence to say that I thought would never come out of my mouth.
You're living the dream.
I'm living someone dream.
Not yours.
No, but I am excited. You know, like to go to anything and not pay for it is really beautiful.
What games are you going to play?
I'm really, really hoping, and I hope this doesn't get me canceled in some spaces where it might get me canceled, but I'm really hoping I could get into a little Catan tonight.
That's not canceled.
I know, but I just feel like it's off-brand.
No, I would play Catan with you.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Because I'm always like, I should buy Catan, but it's so expensive.
But have a board game night.
I know.
I would come and play Catan.
have to have a board game night.
I've started playing Anomia, making Reese play Anomia.
I love Anomia.
And I'm like, I need to just start bringing Anomia to the function.
I really think my favorite way, because we were talking last night about like partying and doing activities and stuff like that. And I'm like, I really do want to start having like games night, because that is the best way to drink wine.
I agree.
Because then you also have to stop at some point because you get really, really bad at the game.
Yeah. And I think what I like about a kind of chill games night, as opposed to like, I don't really like games. Like in the sense of like, if we're at a party and someone pulls out a game, I think it kills the vibe. I hate it.
Oh,
I hate when we're at a function where everyone's talking and then we pull out the game.
And he's like, why don't we play What Do You Meme?
And I'm like, yeah, but I just want to talk.
No,
but
Cards
if it's
Against Humanity,
no.
Terrible for that.
But if it's a game specific event, then I'm fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
I like a game. I just don't want the game to be I think some people really like games and they find they're uncomfortable with just talking.
Yes.
So they want the game as something to do. I get that. I respect that. But I just like to I need it to be separated.
Mm-hmm.
We're either gaming Or we're talking. I do love playing video games with people because I never played video games with anyone growing up because my sister was too young. So whenever somebody has like a Switch that you can multiplayer on, I'm always like, should we play video games? Should we play Overcooked?
I want a Switch so badly. Like I want a Switch that I can set up and like have people over to
Blair,
play like Mario Kart.
Don't tease me.
No, I want
Blair,
to.
you should do it because I'd be obsessed. And then we could get a farm together on Stardew Valley and co-play.
Well, because I want one that I can set up to my TV and then have this. And I'm holding out for the new Nintendo releasing, and then the Switches get really cheap.
I agree.
This is kind of what I'm
hoping. Or even
will
Black
happen.
Friday. I feel like we could get a good.
Becky's nodding. Becky's here, by the way.
Yeah.
If we're saying it to Becky.
What's okay?
Really, they're doing some amazing loud things on the floor above us.
We had to let a man into the building who was wearing medals.
He was adorned. This man was adorned with like military medals, and he was like, "Do you guys know where the ceremony is happening?" And we were like,
"Well, it looks like it's in this unit." So I was like, "So go up to that floor." But I kept like looking at the medals because they also were like old timey medals. Like this wasn't like a U.S. Army, a Canadian military. This was some separate. Like they were like medals that like it was like.
It was like
a
British
ribbon.
Army.
Yeah, it was like a ribbon and then like a round kind of copper circle at the end. It was crazy.
Yeah, I've never seen someone adorned in so many medals just walking around
asking where to go. I thought he was a real estate agent for a second.
I know, and then I was like,
because he was also with a couple.
Because
he was also with a couple, and then he was like, no, they're looking for this event.
The couple was there. They all looked very like professional and rich, and they all like they look like they're not from Canada.
No, to be honest, this is some. There's no generational wealth like this in Canada.
No, this
doesn't exist here.
Doesn't happen here.
This is some like mining shit. Like somebody went to some country, got ore.
Yes.
And now this guy has medals.
No, 100%. So we're in a really amazing situation today, and Becky's here. She's working. She's wonderfully letting us record.
Yes.
In the setup. And we can watch everything she's editing, and we're gonna leak it.
I mean, my eyesight's not that good.
Mine either. I got new contacts, and I'm pretty sure I put the prescription in wrong one of them on clearlycontacts.ca.
Oh no!
And so it's fine. It's okay.
That sucks, man.
My optometrist got mad at me and told me I was wearing my contacts for too long, and now I have to switch them out every 2 weeks. Which I don't know if she knows that contacts cost money.
I know
that I don't want to spend.
I know.
It's actually fucked,
and I have to get my eyes checked.
I got
horrible. My email, but I'm like, do I really want to spend like, I don't know, how much is it to get a new glasses as well? Like that's I'm looking at like $500.
I know. I think in April I spent like $700 on eye stuff, and I was like, oh.
And I do need it. Like my eyes are getting worse. They're quickly deteriorating.
I know.
Let's be clear, they are rapidly deteriorating. But I just don't want to.
And you know what? They shine so many bright lights into your eyes, and I have this like. I don't know what this is. Maybe it's a bigger problem than what I think it is. But I have this really kind of paranoia fear that I am like gonna just open my eyes one day and not be able to see.
Yeah.
Like I'll have gone blind.
Yeah.
And so every time she's trying to light my eyes,
You're
my
like, please
eyesight
don't.
would go. And I'd be like, oh, great. My worst fear has happened. I'm blind now.
Well, I always get in my head when they're like, which one's better, 1 or 2? And I always want to be like, well, in what sense?
Yeah, like in what sense?
What is it supposed to look like?
No, and when it's like so similar and like you just feel like you're taking up
so
their
much
time because like they're
pressure.
going so fast, and I'm like, oh my god, you have like children with glaucoma to see. Like I can't. Like I need to hustle through this appointment.
I know,
Oh
but
God,
I will
that's
do that
horrifying.
eventually. So much shit was just falling to the wayside. It's been a weird time for me doing minor tasks. Do you know what I mean?
Girl,
the
me
minor
too.
tasks have gone out the window.
My minor task list, because I wrote down a new one. I had a couple of big things that were minor tasks, but like big kind of time consuming things. Like I was on the phone for about 4 hours with the government last week. Just doing something that I had to do that's deeply uninteresting and not really
business
interested, like business type shit. And
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
and I was like, damn, this like is just the worst type of thing to have to do. And I have like a couple more of tasks like that, and I'm just like, the way I don't want to do them.
Yeah. Yesterday
Should be
was just
studied.
my like task day. I just did random little tasks. And
kinda
you know what
beautiful.
sucked about it though is like I didn't leave the day feeling productive. I was just like, fucking thank God those are done.
Well, that's the thing, because you haven't actually achieved anything.
No, I've just fixed my deficit.
Yes.
I haven't moved forward. I've just
No.
fixed the shit that I was falling behind on. And
Yeah.
it's stupid shit. Like I get a lot of anxiety about like responding to certain texts and messages.
Yeah, for
where
sure.
it's like not, sometimes it's business related. Sometimes it's just like people like if I'm not very comfortable with you, I sometimes find it hard to respond fast because I have to think about what I'm going to say, and it's anxiety inducing for me to send. I just really find messaging very anxiety inducing.
Yes.
So a lot of those days it's like respond to this message, respond to this email, respond to this email, send this email, respond to this message, like so much of it. So it's like it's not productive, but it is in the sense where I'm like, I need to be keeping these conversations up. Like
100%.
and not even friend stuff. Like it's even just like regular shit. But I just find it so hard.
No, absolutely. It's one of the most tedious things in the world. I also find it really difficult to, when you get like a message that's like either asking you for something or if you can do something and you have to say no.
Yep.
It's like the best thing to do if you get a message and you know you can't do it or you don't want to do it is just to say no immediately. Because then as soon as you leave it, it's like the added guilt of like, well, now I've left them hanging.
It's so close to the day.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, those stress me out so much too.
No, I know.
Like, how do you get better at shit like that? I'd love to know.
I think it's just a capacity thing. Like I was saying last night, I wonder, I'm not on my period, but I feel like there's some level. I need to start tracking my ovulation so I can track my moods and see how much it affects whatever. Because I was just like, I've just been so like exhausted recently, but I'm not on my period. So I'm like, whatever this phase is, like I'm just tired. And I think that's why. Like I think that on a good week, I am energized enough to just deal with the things that I find difficult. But on a bad week, it's like I just become so avoidant. I don't want to deal with any of it.
100%. No, I feel like I do better when I just like lean into whatever I'm feeling. Like if I'm just feeling
You're right.
like avoidant, sometimes I find it's better to just be like, okay, well, like nothing's really getting done this week.
I know. I want to find acceptance in that of just like meeting myself where I'm at a bit more. Because why not? Like, who really cares?
But then my issue with that is that like sometimes that doesn't end. Like, you know, like I just
you have to stop
to feel
doing things. Yeah, I know. It's a balance.
Yeah, 100%. It's a little stressful. I also got rid of my bed frame recently, so my mattress is on the floor right now.
What's the plan?
My bed frame was just like I got like it was broken from day one. Like my bed frame was always broken, and so I was just like I can't do this anymore, and I got rid of it. But now I'm kind of like a cat, and it's so stupid because I'm like my bed being on the floor has made me feel crazy. I'm like things have moved and I don't feel normal.
Yeah.
So I'm like I don't know what that's about, but now I'm like in my room and I'm like my room feels weird.
Yeah, because you're closer to the floor.
I'm closer to the floor. Like I can't reach shit.
Jesus fucking Christ, why can't I open this?
Do you want a hand?
No, I got it. That was really a struggle.
No, that was good. Honestly, girl, I've been there. I said this before. This is the most like first world thing to bring up, but I've got the noisiest water bottle in the world.
I know.
And I noticed it. I don't bring it to recordings anymore because it's just me. Anytime I go for water, it's clang, 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 clang,
yeah,
clang.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's like I'm opening a chain.
It's like let me get my chain out.
Yeah, let me.
Y'all mind if I get my chain out real quick?
Y'all mind if I get my chain out real quick? It's like I'm like getting like taking the chain off of like a boat.
Yeah,
so that the boat can sail
anchoring
away
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's sad because I'm like I don't want to buy any water bottle, but also like I got truly like taking it to a movie theater, clang, 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 clang. It's embarrassing. How do people live like this?
I think other people just truly don't care how much space and like sound they take up. Like when people get on the subway or on the bus with like a speaker.
Oh, that's crazy.
Or they're listening to TikTok out loud. I'm like, I literally could not. Like, I actually don't understand.
Oh my God. There's a guy who lives near me. This is kind of doxing maybe a little bit where I live if you are extremely familiar with Toronto, but also I'm moving, so who fucking cares? I feel like
it's the kind of thing where it's like it doxes you if the person already lives in your neighborhood.
If you live in this neighborhood and you listen to this podcast, you're going to immediately know what I'm talking about. But there is a fucking guy who drives a rickshaw in my neighborhood. He lives in my neighborhood. I don't know how the fuck he has a rickshaw or why. He sits outside of this like little fast food restaurant that's really close to my house, blasting music starting at like 11 p.m. And then sometimes he'll have like a gang of rickshaw drivers pull up and they'll all be around. Yeah. There's a bunch of them and they'll just
I feel like I've
out.
never even seen a rickshaw. Like you know what I mean? Like I've never seen like I've never been able to hail one, you know?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm like the only rickshaws I've ever seen are like tourist traps downtown.
Yeah.
Which is not where I live.
Yeah, they're all getting off work.
Yeah, and I think they live in my neighborhood. And they come and the way they're playing the worst fucking like dad rock, but not even like the good dad rock.
Yeah,
it's like Bon Jovi, It's My Life, playing at like 1 o'clock in the morning through this like tinny rickshaw speaker.
Yeah.
And like, I truly, like, I've gone outside and I'm crazy. So maybe this is the wrong way, but I've gone outside and just yelled like, shut up, like turn it down.
Well, yeah, you can't be playing music out loud outside at 1 a.m.
It's crazy.
If it's not like a Saturday.
No,
like
it's
if
crazy
it's a
work.
Tuesday, that can't be what you do.
Yeah, there's a guy on like Saturday afternoons where sometimes he sits on this like patio that's unoccupied during the day across the street from my house, and he sits there and he just plays reggae, and that's like Saturday afternoons.
That's
and I'm like, I fuck
fine.
with that, honestly.
Yeah.
Like just walking down the street, it's like, don't worry about a thing. I'm like, yeah,
That's nice.
I'm on island time right now.
Hell yeah, baby.
So
I need
that
to be
I'm
on
fine with.
island time stat, I think.
We should go to an all inclusive.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yes.
Awesome. Let's go to the what's it called? A resort.
What resort?
I don't know. What's an all inclusive?
There's a lot.
Okay.
I would love nothing more than to go to all inclusive, but I feel like
do
we should
that.
go in like fall.
Yeah, in the fall and the winter.
Yeah.
The one good thing is that Queer Games Night has free food,
That's huge.
which is really nice.
well,
and I think
famously, when we went to the Apple Podcast Mixer, the way we came in 15 minutes late during a talk, beeline
Yeah.
to the buffet and just ate
and just
basically all the buffet.
ate the mini quiches, which again, I don't want to talk negatively about Apple Podcasts. On
We
our
love
podcast.
Apple Podcasts, but if you promise a brunch, I'm expecting like
Where
a
are the
waffle
breakfast
machine.
potatoes? At least have a
Breakfast potato,
waffle machine. You guys are
omelet station.
Apple. You guys are Apple.
Omelet station, guys. Come on.
Yeah, guys. Between 2014 and 2017, I bought about 7 iPhones from you guys. You're
Where
telling
is the
me you
customer
can't
support?
Give me breakfast potatoes? Come on.
I know.
Give me a freaking break.
I went to the diner by my house on Tuesday because it was a beautiful day.
It was a
We
beautiful
were
day.
sitting outside. We did fringe rehearsal, and then I got to drive home. And I
beautiful.
was like, I'm hungry. Do you guys want to go to this diner? We went, and they have breakfast potatoes there that have like shallots,
Oh,
and they really, if you get them on the right day, they really burn them, but like in a good
yeah.
crusty kind of way.
Crusty up those potatoes.
I've decided I'm going to be on island time this summer.
Me too.
I'm going to be like Lord Solar Power, smoking. I'm smoking weed outside. I'm
Yeah.
going to be one of those people you see in the park where they're just like, they've fallen asleep and in the sun, and you're like, I'm worried about them. This is drug related. Me and Reese are tie-dyeing on Saturday.
Wait, that's huge.
Do you want to come and tie-dye something?
What are you tie-dyeing?
I bought Hanes tank tops, and Reese got
Huge.
little white t-shirts. I guess
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes, we're going to tie-dye.
Wait. I never wear tie-dye, but that sounds really fun.
Well, yeah, but maybe you don't have enough.
I'm going to do shrooms on Sunday if you want to come.
Ooh, where?
I don't know. Well,
I would actually love to come.
Really?
Yeah.
Because Christina's never done shrooms. And so I was like, we should do shrooms. So,
You're going to do it in a park, though.
yeah.
Yeah,
think so.
that's my caveat.
Yeah. If you want to come.
Stay informed. There's possible light rain right now.
No.
Guys, be sure.
Not light rain.
Yeah, I'll let you know because it's cloudy on Sunday right now, but that could change. And if it's really, really cloudy, I'll get suicidal if I do shrooms. But if
That's
it's a
true.
beautiful day,
I'll do shrooms.
I'll do shrooms.
The
And I
best-
want to bring a speaker and I want to listen to the Beatles.
Yeah. Perfect.
There we go.
Easy peasy. The best time I ever did shrooms, I was at Scarborough Bluffs, and the sky was like geometrically patterned, and
That's everything.
the water felt amazing. And
I just want to utilize drugs like that. I want to be like very chill, very, you know.
well, that's the thing. Like, drugs should be chill and fun. They shouldn't make you want to like crawl your skin off. Like, that's not fun for me anymore in my
No.
advanced age.
No.
But I
I want to
do-
like get
yeah.
a fruit platter and sit in a park on like a
Yeah.
blanket and just really experience nature. I want to feel closer to nature.
Yeah, except the one time when I was at Scarborough Bluffs, which is like a big beach, if you don't know it, it's just like this
It's a
like
beach.
beautiful beach with an escarpment. And my friends were doing like a potluck, and so there was like a blankets with a bunch of food on it. And the way when I was on shrooms, I was like, that is, I kept pointing to it and being like, horrifying. That's horrifying. That's really scary. I need to get away from it.
Why?
It was really scaring the fuck out of me. I was like, it was too much going on.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It was like, I don't know why the ham's out. Like, I don't know why there's ham here. Like, I don't want to be
You're
on
not
shrooms
wrong.
looking at fucking slices of ham.
You're not wrong, actually.
No, it was really scary. And I was like, there's too much food. There's too many everyone's like touching. Because like
I had a whole sleeve of saltines. That felt really good to me.
saltines?
Yeah, like a cracker.
Really? When you were on shrooms?
Yeah,
That's amazing.
because that settled my stomach a bit more.
Mm.
I needed to eat. I also, there's something about any drug basically besides like cocaine that makes me want to I get munchies, but like for any drug.
You're just hungry.
Yeah, I think I have a problem where like I'm not very in my body. I was talking about this the other day where it's like I never realize I have to pee until I like have to pee.
Yeah.
I'm gonna piss my pants.
Yeah, you're gonna lose your mind.
Or I don't realize I'm hungry until I'm starving. Or I'm thirsty until I'm dehydrated, or all these things.
Yeah,
like
for
I'm
sure.
not good at noticing. I'm trying to this summer really exist in like a less extreme way.
That's beautiful.
Like just notice things before they're extreme. Even like yesterday was like my day was okay, but like I was bummed that it wasn't amazing.
Oh.
But then I was like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like a day can just be okay.
Yeah.
And that's still good. Like I don't need to be like the best day ever.
100%. What did you do yesterday?
I just did fucking tasks. I gardened.
Oh, that's great.
The sun was beautiful. I was out in the garden. I had to move the bird feeder because the birds were shitting all over my raspberries.
The birds are actually crazy. The birds
Yes, the birds are nuts. So I moved the bird feeder, and then I watered everything, and then I went to a cafe to do work.
Beautiful.
And on the way home, I dropped my sun shirt. Like I was wearing like a flannel to protect my shoulders from the sun, and it just fell out of my bag, I guess, when I took it off.
Oh no.
So I got home and was like, where the hell is it? And I had to retrace my steps, and I found it.
Okay, good.
And that was really it. So all that's to say is I get hungry, I think, whenever I do any kind of drug, because I think it puts me more in my body than I am normally.
Yeah.
Like, and I like that. Like, I really enjoy just being like, I mean, this is a fact known to man, but it's like, if you're high, like any meal, you're like, no, this rocks.
Well,
A pickle?
Oh my
when
God.
you're high? Are you fucking kidding me?
No, it's huge. Well, when I'm on shrooms, I can't eat.
This is more normal, I've heard.
This is like, it's crazy too, because like if you like food sounds and looks really amazing, but then like actually eating it, it's like chewing cardboard. That's what it's like for me. If I'm like coming down and I'm not like as high, I can eat a little bit, but sometimes I'll crave like really weird things. Like I'll be like, I need like a salami sandwich. That's the only thing I can eat, is like salami or something.
Interesting. Yeah, I find on the come down, I definitely want it. Like when I was coming down, the only time I've done shrooms, but like we had like a fruit platter, and I just kind of sat there kind of like curled up and just like truly like you know when like you see in like a movie there's like or like a girl has been like really really traumatized and like kind of like starved or whatever, and she's kind of catatonic and she's just kind of eating one thing after another. Like it was like that. If it's like I wasn't even swallowing the piece of cantaloupe before there was something very rhythmic about it. I mean, I love fruit. There's something in my
fruit
brain.
Is so good.
I don't know what it is. Somebody's gonna comment. This always happens where I'm like, I wonder what that is, and then somebody's like, that's really serious. You should really get that checked out.
Really serious.
I
You
just
should
like
really
fruit.
see a doctor.
I think it's a sugar thing.
I think it's just
I'm
sugar
addicted to
thing.
sugar, but it's like good sugar. Like it doesn't upset my stomach in the way that like I have Sour Patch Kids in the house right now, and that's really huge. But I upset my stomach pretty easily. I'll have like 20, and I'll be like, why would that?
Why? Would
obviously, that would make my upset. My stomach.
Would the children hurt me? They're just kids.
First they're sour, and then they're sweet.
They're sour and they're sweet and they're children. Why would they?
Why
hurt
are they
me?
hurting me?
Why are they hurting me? Well, have you ever seen that girl on TikTok who does the dowsing rods? Where she asks things. Have you seen this? Becky's nodding. But like the girl, she has like 2 rods and she'll ask questions to like an entity or something, like God or something. Okay. Yes.
What's the backdrop?
I don't even know.
Oh, okay. They're trying.
No, she's the original. Yeah, there's people trying to copy her steez, but she's the only one who's really doing it.
Yeah.
But she has these 2 rods and she'll be like, do dogs go to heaven? And if the rods touch, it means yes. And if they don't, it means no. And she'll go like, yes, thank you. Have you seen that girl?
No, I'm not on TikTok, but I'm obsessed with this.
Okay, she actually, there was a period in my life where when a new video of hers dropped,
it was huge. Yeah.
And this wasn't that long. It was like maybe 6 months ago. Where I was like, oh my God, new
my show's
video.
on.
The angel has come back to tell us yes or no. And one of the things she asked once was, she was like, is fruit the highest vibrational food? And the rods touch each other. And she said, yes, thank you.
Hell yeah. That's
and
why.
I kind of think it's real, because like there's no real negative repercussions to eating fruit unless you like eat too much and you die.
Yes. And I think we've lost the sauce a bit in that we've removed fruit from what it actually is in our brains, where I'm like, fruit is crazy.
No, fruit is
I know
nuts.
I sound insane and stupid, but it's like, this grows on trees. It's different in different seasons. It's different in different places.
Yes. It's crazy.
This is a seed. And then it comes... this is made to be delicious so that we eat it and then we shit outside and put the seeds other places.
100%. Well, it's kind of like I think that's why it's kind of like a sex food, because it is reproduction.
It's sex. Yeah.
In a way where it's like,
definitely,
you eat this and then you shit it out, and then that's
reproduction.
That's reproduction. Like that is fruit. And I feel like people don't talk about that, like fruit is the horniest food.
I think we're removed from fruit at its core.
because there was this whole big vegetable thing. There was like the vegetable fucking mafia took over the last 20 years.
I agree.
Where it was like everyone was all on these vegetables. Like the day that people decided to reinvent cauliflower,
Over.
it was like one day cauliflower was something you were forced to eat by your parents. The next it was something I was paying $25 for at a goddamn restaurant. And I was like, pardon me?
No.
It was like when they reinvented Brussels sprouts. They made Brussels
Yes.
sprouts taste better. Yes and yes.
No, I agree. And I do like a good kind of balsamic Brussels sprout, but as
Yes.
somebody who doesn't eat meat, the way bars are like, well, we'll boil cauliflower and then we'll fry it and then we'll put salt on it and you will like it. And I'm like, I don't know. It looks
Basically meat.
like it's not. And also, I don't understand why when we have good meat replacement, you're not just giving me wings that are fake wings. I do not understand why you don't just have fake meat here.
Yeah, I know.
Why am I eating cauliflower? Because it's not good. We can pretend all we want.
Yeah.
It's
You're
fine on
lying-
its own,
you're
but
lying
it's
to
not
yourself.
like, I'm not happy about it.
Yeah.
It's like a salad. It's like, I'll eat it happily if there's something else to eat at the restaurant, but I'm not like thrilled that I'm paying $27 for this.
Yeah. Get it. I love it sounds like Satan, but like Satan. Satan.
yes.
I love that stuff.
That shit is so
like
good.
where you just like get just the gluten from the flour. So good.
And it's like, that should, obviously. You know what I mean? Like when you think
Yeah.
about it logically, you're like,
Like,
yeah,
yeah, great.
that would be good.
Perfect. What do you think of like mushrooms as a meat replacement?
Okay, so this is huge.
Okay.
And I'm telling you that ahead of time. So
Okay.
I've hated mushrooms my whole life.
Whoa.
I think they're really gross. I
Yeah.
was really grossed out by the fungi of it all.
Yes.
But when I was in Charlottetown last March, I was with like restaurant people because I was there for like a shoot. And it was very much like after the first time we got done early and they're like, we're all going to go out on like the client card and we're going to get a rest. We're going to eat. And these are
Whoa.
obviously kind of like marketing people who do this all the time. Like they go out, they're in some random place and it's kind of like,
They're here for the company card.
well, yeah, because like you've been on sets for stuff where it's like either the people from like the network or like this people from like or like the marketing people are like it's
Yeah.
like a vacation or like a field trip for them where there's like this is crazy, like they're just there to kind of have fun.
Yeah, for sure.
But you're never really included in it. But because it was such a small like crew, it was just like we all went out. And
Huge.
they would like know all about the restaurants and they're like, we're gonna go here, we're gonna get like we're gonna share the plates, whatever, blah 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 blah. Restaurant people. And I had a mushroom there, and I was like, you know what? Actually, not that bad. But I didn't have them. And then I went to a vintage pop up. My friend Anna, who runs Odd Thing, I've talked about her on the podcast before. Odd Thing
yeah.
Vintage. So she does like pop ups around the city,
Cool.
in the West End, like every weekend.
Beautiful.
And they had sandwiches from this like sandwich shop
Ooh.
that I forget what it's called. But the options were like a fried chicken sandwich or kind of like a mushroom sandwich. But it looked
Ooh.
so good that I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have it. And I did,
Whoa.
and it was really delicious. I still obviously have to like work up
Yeah.
to it, but I found it like when it's good, which is different than before where even a good mushroom I was iffy on. Where now
Yeah.
if it's prepared really well, I didn't hate the texture. It's very similar to eggplant, which I didn't know. And I like
Yes.
eggplant, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes people like there was a big I feel like we moved away from it, but like there was a big kind of like sauteing thing as
Yeah.
well. Where it was like every mushroom, and they did this with onions a lot, like where everything was caramelized onion.
Yeah.
And I was like, we don't need to saute everything. Sometimes you can just bake something. Like
Grill it,
you know
fry
what I
it. There's
mean?
options. I also think with mushrooms, I forget the name of those, but the basic ones that you just buy at the grocery store when you think
yes.
of a mushroom.
Yeah.
I don't really like that flavor.
No,
It's not for me. Whereas like and I had somebody who said this to me forever ago where they're like, well, yeah, but like those actually, if you're like a mushroom head, because this person who was like really into mushrooms, they're like, those actually aren't that good. Like there are better mushrooms.
Yes, for
and
sure.
I agree now. I'm like, okay, yeah, like just because
Yeah.
I don't like this doesn't mean that I don't like all mushrooms.
I used to be on like a crazy. I like mushrooms. I used to love mushrooms. Like when I was in university, I would go and just get like a huge pack of mushrooms and I would just make mushroom omelets.
Yum.
Like which is like mushrooms and eggs. And I'm like, that looking back was like a little bit crazy. The stuff I used to cook when I first moved out was actually
Insane.
like,
I agree. I think
I
back
would
to it. I'm like, it's
never
crazy. Like
think
that I
to make
survived.
now. Yeah.
And this actually was really good. So if you have cheese, if you can have dairy, and you're looking for like kind of like a late night kind of drunk snack or whatever, you don't have to be drunk to have it, but it's the vibe of a snack that you're having when you're like
Yeah.
whatever. Is I would get off like work, and I would get fancy bread from the grocery store and brie. And
Oh
I
my
would
God,
make
yes.
a grilled cheese with brie,
Girl,
but it was like a
yes.
fancy kind of baguette, you know what I mean? And then I
Yes.
would watch Sex in the City, and fucking hell, those sandwiches were so good. But like they must have killed me. I'm lactose intolerant. Like
Oh no, it's insane. No, I'm the same. I used to like when I was drunk go to the grocery store and get brie. I would steal olives.
yeah,
And then I would get like jelly and a baguette, and I would just have like brie and baguette all week. Like, where the fuck was I? Kingston, Ontario.
I know.
My second, so I lived in residence, and then when I moved out with roommates, my roommate, who is famously comedian Rachel Manson,
Yes.
would eat just like a shrimp ring.
That's
including
insane.
tails.
No,
including tails.
No.
She would just eat the shrimp and the tails. It was crazy. I saw her eat some of the craziest things. I love her to death.
But that is like your first roommates out of university really, really see you doing dietary things that no man should ever do.
Yeah. No, it really was like just, I saw some amazing feats of creativity in that kitchen. Really. I just a lot of hot dogs too.
I just like really didn't, because you just don't really know meals.
No.
Like I just didn't know what to make.
I knew like eggs.
Yeah.
I knew eggs.
I would make pizzas on tortillas in the microwave.
Oh God, yes.
Like a tortilla, cheese, or whatever.
Yeah.
I used to make a lot of, I can't have pesto pasta anymore because I would make so much pesto pasta.
Oh my God, I would eat so much pesto pasta.
And now it's like very gross to me because I just had it
Well, that was
so
also,
much.
like, a weird food that like was never in my home growing up.
Okay, I liked pesto growing up.
Well, my mom hated pesto, so we never had pesto.
Yeah.
And so when I was allowed to buy my own pesto, I was like,
This shit
is
rocks.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
But I also like sriracha. When sriracha came into the game,
huge.
I put sriracha. I was talking about this the other day. I would make toast, put sriracha on it.
Yeah.
Eat that dinner.
Yep. Yum.
The Kraft dinner. I still love Kraft dinner. Mac and
that's
cheese.
good.
So good. Yeah, just absolute crimes against humanity.
Yeah,
stuff
I have a lot of Tim Hortons chicken noodle soup.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, because it was also just like if I was, because I used to live by, unlike now, or I live very far away from that.
No, you don't live near there.
But they have that Tim Hortons there, and I would get off the station and I would be hungry from like dinner, not from dinner. I would be hungry for dinner from work and school, and I would just get that
chicken noodle soup.
I had it so much, or sushi, which I still will have. I'll still have some sushi, but I wouldn't make sushi. I think I would order a lot more food because I didn't know how to cook things.
Yeah, yeah.
I had no options. Like my pantry was fucking crazy because I didn't know to buy the things that you can make into other things.
No, I just bought those things.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else I ate. I used to eat a lot at the pub I worked at in 3rd and 4th year.
Yeah.
And they had this thing called they would make these sandwiches and they were so good. But they were like, looking back, like quite weird, and I would eat them a lot.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite ones was the falafel sandwich.
Yum.
And it was like a ciabatta bun with tzatziki, falafel, like chipotle mayonnaise, and like cheddar cheese.
So it's a real kind of, trip around the world.
It was
there.
crazy.
A culinary kind of exploration.
Looking back, I was like, it was crazy. Like, this was like a popular item.
But I get it.
No, but I do get it. Good.
But I do get it. Like it sounds insane, but
no, it's delicious.
I understand.
No, it's so good.
I used to have all the time at Oakwood Cafe, which is like the formerly Ryerson, now TMU, because Egerton Ryerson is villain numero uno of history.
Yeah, he's not great.
No. And they had like the student cafe there, and they had a thing called the student loan special, which was $7 for toast, egg, salad, and hash browns, like a full meal.
Ooh.
And you could also get like the veggie version of it, so like no eggs, and instead it was a tofu scramble, and their tofu scramble was genuinely good. Like I find tofu scramble, I just got to figure out a good recipe for it. But the one that me and Reese make, I actually think is pretty gross. Like it's just not very good. And this tofu scramble was very, very good. Like they obviously were doing shit there. And the way I would have that, and then I'd get a side of chipotle mayo, sriracha mayo.
Mm-hmm.
And because I worked just below this cafe, which in the now defunct copyright printing, I worked at the print shop at university. So I was just printing like architectural students' blueprints and whatever.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I would have that literally every day. Like literally every day. Because it's $7. Like at that point.
At that point, you're saving money.
I'm saving money. I'm making money at that point.
You'd be foolish not to do that.
I would have that all the time, and fuck, it was so good. I actually kind of want to go back, but I'm like, is it fucking weird for me to go to the student cafe at my grown age?
There was also a place at Queens in one of the residence buildings called the Lazy Scholar.
Obsessed.
And the food you would get there was like so just like curly fries, fucking burgers and stuff. It was so gross. And again, like I would run into Rachel Manson there just stealing plates and plates of sushi.
Yeah.
And it was just like crazy.
Yeah.
Just the fish she'd be smuggling out. I'm sorry, Rachel.
You're putting her on blast right now.
I love Rachel so much. And these were like iconic moments. And we'd be in the Lazy Scholar. Like she hadn't left yet. And she'd just be like with like fish in her coat. And she'd be like, oh, I'm just stealing sushi. Like she hadn't left yet.
That's insane.
Girl, you're crazy. She's an icon though.
I love her.
And then honestly, eating in dining halls was crazy.
I never did. Because you couldn't unless you were at residence, and I wasn't.
Yeah, and you
resident.
wouldn't want to be honest.
No.
Like even like Queens really touted the fact that they had like the second best food in Ontario.
I believe
for
that.
university.
I think if you were to think who in Ontario would have good food, I think Queens would.
Yeah, Guelph is number one.
I believe that because of the agriculture and
Agriculture,
that kind of thing.
they're a real farm to table type university.
Yeah, that makes sense to
but
me.
no, Queens, like, and it still wasn't that good. Like it was like
I feel like I should have gone to Guelph.
you would have loved.
I think
Guelph,
I would have eaten at Guelph. I think I really would have. I mean, my life would be different, and I'm happy my life is the way it is. But I think I would have liked Guelph.
There's something to be said about like going
Dal.
to like a smaller town. I almost went to Dal.
I would have loved Dalhousie, I think.
Yeah.
Or I'd hate it. Who knows? I had such a bad attitude at 18 that like I probably could hate anything. You know, like I was
If I put my mind to it, I
could
really
find something wrong with every
find
situation I
vitriol
was
for
in.
everything.
Yeah.
No, and I understand that. I think that's important to do as an 18-year-old.
Yeah, it's a safe way to feel kind of anger, I think.
100%. And then, you know, you have your whole life to be happy and optimistic about things.
Exactly. But you only have a couple years where that kind of behavior is validated in any
Yeah,
way.
because no one says like, she's just angsty because she's 28.
Yeah, I'd be like, okay, well, get it together.
Get it together.
Yeah.
She's just angsty because she's 18. Oh, of course. That's an important part of a young woman's.
She has to experience the full, the full swath of emotions.
100%. You have to grow it.
Should we talk about JFK?
Yeah, let's take a little break and then let's get into the topic.
Okay.
Boom.
So today we're talking about JFK after World War II.
Huge.
Just kind of getting you in, like from, we talked about the Kennedys in World War II, getting you from there to right before his presidential run.
Amazing.
So we're going to talk about his political career, the campaigns, his time in the Senate, his time in the House, things like that.
Okay.
We're going to do a bit of a gloss over of like certain bills he passed, unless it's important. I just find that boring. Like, I'm not a politics head. I'm like, oh, cool. Especially because like American laws are weird. Like, they can just get repealed the next year. It's strange.
Yeah, I don't
The way that
understand.
the laws work there are strange. So it's hard for me to be like, well, did this act like, unless it was something that had like long lasting impacts and things like that, or was like the kind of core of his campaigns or his identity. We're going to talk about that. But
Beautiful.
other stuff, it's just like him and some other senators like co-signed a bill.
Well, this is like,
Okay.
I find it so interesting with like American government because like being in Canada, we basically just have like the British parliamentary system.
Yeah.
And the American government was designed as like a
The
complete
antithesis.
opposition of that. So nothing makes sense to me.
Well, yeah, because it's meant to like prevent having a king or having long-term power. But what that also means is that I guess up until now, like nothing had power. Now they're just kind of like, they've realized they can just freestyle it and be like, no, I'm going to do it anyway. Which you're like, what?
I'm going to be king.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I might be king.
The people crave king.
Yes.
They crave a king.
They want a king.
They want a king
It's
so
time,
bad.
guys.
It's time.
Hashtag it's time. Time's up. It's 2025. Time to get America a king.
Time to give America a king. So I was saying the other day where I'm just like, obviously I don't love the British monarchy, but I think it's a bad time for the monarchy to dissolve. And that's my hot take.
You think we should have it? It's not dissolving.
I'm just worried that the UK, well, it's not dissolving, but when people are just like, let's get like, after Charles dies, let's get rid of the monarchy. I'm like, I really think that the UK should like not go full kind of like they haven't pulled like a big kind of like move recently. And I'm worried that without the monarchy, they will just go full supervillain.
They might.
You know what I mean?
It's not impossible.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I feel like we should keep at least like a figurehead.
Definitely. The soft diplomacy.
For now.
Yes.
Okay, hit me.
So
JFK.
JFK returns from war, and as we know, he comes back a war hero. He basically, after his boat, which is like meant to basically detect Japanese ships taking soldiers to like the islands in the Pacific that they're occupying. The boat gets cut in half by a Japanese boat.
Okay.
2 people die on impact. He gets the rest of his crew, as we talked about in the last episode, and he basically like keeps them alive on islands until they can return.
Wow.
Very no man left behind kind of vibes,
Yes.
right? So he returns a war hero, and because of this, Joe Jr., his older brother, basically dies doing really kind of dangerous fighter pilot missions when he doesn't have to anymore. Like he's kind of hit his sorry, I'm so brain dead that it's gonna take me a while. But he kind of hits his quota of what he has to do in the military.
And he's like, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be valiant and I'm going to do this dangerous mission.
And the mission is like they turned a plane into a bomb and then they'll have you detonate the bomb and then parachute out of the bomb. And surprise, surprise, the bomb that's a plane detonated early.
Yeah.
Because it's the fucking 40s. Why would you have the technology for that?
No, it's
be so fucking
insane.
real.
But that was World War II. They were like, we're going to invent the newest bomb.
Yes. So JFK returns home from war and tales of his exploits and his status as a war hero, receiving his Purple Heart, all those things are splashed all over the newspapers. Joe Sr., his father, calls in a lot of favors to do so because now Joe Sr. realizes that with his eldest son dead, JFK is now the one that he's going to place his political ambitions upon.
For sure.
JFK is the one that is going to run for president.
And it's crazy, too, that, like, this guy, catching hands if I ever meet him in hell.
Yeah.
But truly, the way he was just like making moves always with his kids is really psycho. Like to have your eldest son die
and be like, oh, now you.
Like you've spent 20 years like priming this kid to be president, and then like he dies and you're just like, oh, well, on to the next.
It's very bad.
On to the backup son.
It's not good.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah. Yeah, the psychological implications of this can't be understated. It's also worth saying that like they spent those 20 years creating this kind of image that Joe Jr. could fall into to the best of his abilities. Like Joe Jr. was very, very intelligent, very, very charismatic, kind of like a jock. Like he was like, he's kind of that all-American, healthy, athletic jock, just good people, right?
Yes.
So that's the kind of image that the Kennedys have been growing. And then all of a sudden it's like weird Jack who likes to read and write and is sick and gets like as diarrhea basically from the age of 10 onwards now has to be this like picture of American health and charisma, and he's good at it like I think a lot of people who aren't actually a jock, he's very charismatic because he is kind of strange.
Okay, I'm about to make the cringiest pull ever, but it does remind me of when we were talking about like King Henry VIII, like never being primed to be king.
Yeah,
like he was always going to be second to his brother, and just almost having that like lack of pressure, knowing that you're going to be like a figurehead one day. It makes you more relatable because you just grow up being like, like never thinking that you're going to do this.
It's Prince Harry too. Like, you know what
Prince
I mean?
Harry.
You don't have to like him, but you have to admit that he's got way more charisma than William.
100%. It's like the second son.
The freedom of it. There's a certain freedom that allows you to actually be yourself. And it's a kind of misunderstanding that actually being yourself is what people connect to more. They connect to that
100%.
authenticity a lot more.
Yeah.
But it is funny where it's like this image of like Americana health is kind of foisted upon this son that's very, very sickly. And JFK is sickly into his adulthood. Like he just is chronically
100%.
ill.
Well, at this point too, he's got like severe back pain.
Yeah, we're going to get into that.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy. So JFK's original plan was to become a writer or a teacher. He didn't know if he wanted to be like a journalist or an academic or whatever. So he wasn't really sold on these political aspirations. Obviously, it's not his fucking choice. Like if you're a Kennedy and you're the eldest Kennedy son, like sorry, Jack.
Sorry, Jack.
You're going to be a politician.
Good luck.
But in 1945, Joe Sr. calls in a favor with one of his friends at Hearst and gets JFK a job as a special correspondent for Hearst newspaper reporting around the world.
Okay.
So Jack was just like, great. This was fun. And
Awesome.
Joe Sr. was like, this is a chance to get Jack's name kind of out there again. Like, it's all this really weird kind of crazy branding stuff. Like, it is really interesting. Like, I feel like people kind of think that branding is like a new thing. It really isn't, especially when it comes to Joe Sr. Like, he's like, we're going to get you out in the public so they'll kind of know you. Because also, at this time, like, when we talk about JFK's run for presidency, we'll talk about the impact of, like, television on the race.
Yeah.
But at this point, like, races are won by name recognition, which is basically just like where people have seen you the most, whether it be posters, you know, newspaper articles, your work previously. Like, you're not like, it's not like, you know, like, so really like just writing a couple newspaper articles like is kind of sway in a way.
100%.
It makes you a bit more famous.
Yeah.
Very strange. So Joe Sr.'s like, all right, JFK, we're going to start the journey to making you president. So at 29, he decides that he's going to run for Congress.
Crazy.
Yeah. So Boston Mayor Maurice J. Tobin discussed with Joe Sr. the possibility of Jack being his running mate in his bid for lieutenant governor, but Joe favored a congressional campaign because it introduces him to Washington and also like the nation as a whole. Like you're rubbing shoulders with people in Washington,
God.
the social scene in Washington you become a part of, as opposed to like being mitigated or like not mitigated but like relegated to only Massachusetts. And people just are more aware. This is true to this day. It's like, who's your lieutenant governor? But you probably know you're like congressperson.
Oh,
you know
yeah,
what I
for
mean?
sure. Yeah.
So Joe Sr. urges the current representative of the Massachusetts 11th district to vacate his seat and allow JFK to run.
That is so
and he
cool.
does.
That is so cool.
So I had to go down because I was like, what? So I went down this rabbit hole of like why this happened, because I had to, because I was like, why?
Just like, hey, pretty please.
Yes. So the congressman currently in the Massachusetts 11th district, which was like a working class district in Boston, was James Michael Carley. He was a popular Massachusetts politician. By 1945, he had already served as Boston's mayor 3 separate times, and not in 3 consecutive terms. Like he would do it once and then like lose or not run and then do it like run again. Like
that's awesome.
Which is kind of weird. He had beef with Honey Fitz, which we need to talk about.
Cool.
Yeah, so this is JFK's grandfather, right? Who was the mayor of Boston.
Yeah.
So in 1910, James Michael Carley wanted to run for mayor, but that would challenge Honey Fitz, because they're both Democrats. So again, it's this idea of like the primaries really matter of like who you want to run, because Massachusetts is likely going to go blue regardless. Like the real kind of race is
between the candidates.
Yes, exactly.
For sure.
So Honey Fitz said that if Carley didn't challenge him in 1910, he would vacate. He wouldn't run for he wouldn't run for re-election in 4 years.
Okay.
So being like, if you let me run this time, I'll step down. You can run.
Cool.
And Carley was like, okay. But then in 1914, Honey Fitz ran again for mayor. Just like went back on his.
I love this family.
Yes. But Carley knew that Honey Fitz was having an affair with a cigarette girl.
Stop.
Yes, and a
The
cigarette
fuck
girl.
is a cigarette girl?
So at gambling dens, they're like basically bottle girls, but instead they sell cigarettes.
Dude, that's so cool. The past was awesome.
So Carley
What the
threatens to
fuck?
expose Honey Fitz's affair with a cigarette girl, and Honey Fitz drops out of the race, and Carley runs and wins.
I went to a bar in Newfoundland where you could buy 1 cigarette.
So did you have an affair with the cigarette girl?
No, it was a man in like one of those like rain hats.
That's fun.
Continue.
Okay. So it seems like now so that's what happened with his beef with Honey Fitz, but let's fast forward again to like running for Senate in 1940. No, what year is this? 1945. Yes.
This is JFK is running for Senate in 1945.
Congress.
Or for Congress.
I get them mixed up,
In
but it's
1945.
Congress, I believe.
Honestly, I don't really know.
I don't know the difference. I mean, I know the difference like in terms of checks and balances, but I don't know why you have 2.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make any sense to me. Somebody else, I think one of them is like everybody gets the same amount, and the other is like based on population or something like that.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well, because it's senators and congressmen. So maybe women can't be on Congress.
No, women can be on Congress.
I don't think so.
Which was the one where in 2020, all of the white people wore those kind of like African scarves and took a knee and did like a power fist. Like I guess it was supposed to be a black power fist, but they're white. It's Nancy Pelosi.
Oh my
It's
God.
a crazy photo.
That's Congress, I think.
It's so crazy.
That's so funny. Yeah, I have no idea.
So Joe Sr. paid Carley off by offering to cover his gambling debts and fund his bid for mayoral re-election in 1949.
Okay.
So just kind of paying him off to step down, which seems like corruption, but go off. But
no.
In the end, Carley didn't win his bid for re-election in 1949 because it was revealed that he was just like taking so many bids and payoffs. Like he was being paid off by just like everyone. So he went and he served jail time for this.
Stop.
I know.
The past is awesome.
Yes. So Joe Sr. So so Carley steps down. JFK is now running for the seat of Massachusetts 11th district. Joe Sr. pushes this campaign hard.
Yeah.
He spends hours on the phone with reporters and editors. He trades confidence, cajoles them, seeks information, basically just trying to get them to publish puff pieces on JFK to get him in the public's kind of mind.
Oh my God.
And a lot of these puff pieces that also played up his like war hero status.
Cool.
Right?
Okay.
He oversees a professional advertising campaign that ensures ads went up in all of the right places. The campaign had a virtual monopoly on subway space and on window stickers for cars and homes, and just basically there's like a huge force behind this idea of like there's also a mass mailing campaign being like, Kennedy is a war hero, let's elect him.
Whoa.
And people are obviously feeling good about that because it's like 1949, so you're like, yikes, like the war is very recent.
It's 1949 when this is happening?
Sorry, 1945.
1945.
It's happening, yes. So
yeah, because that's like the war
recent.
like isn't even really fully over because victory in Japan hasn't been declared.
No.
When was the OJ? I don't know. Never mind. Don't.
I don't know.
Don't look it up.
I don't know it. Yeah. Okay. And JFK campaigns hard. He's very, very obviously charismatic, like we talked about. This is despite his chronic illness he's dealing with at the time. He has Addison's disease. And I read about this, and there's a moment where I was like, I know, it's really funny. So he had Addison's disease, which when I was reading about this, I was like, do I have this? And I don't, because I went on the Reddit and people are like fainting from it. But it's basically characterized by blood and stomach problems, and it nearly killed him several times before he was diagnosed. Because also in the past, it was like seen as kind of like fatal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It's basically you get diarrhea and stomach cramps, fatigue and dizziness, and a constant craving of salt.
Oh my God.
So it's one of the things like when I was reading online, it's like when people are like, how did you know you had it? They'd be like, oh, well, I had to switch to baths because I couldn't stand in the shower anymore. So like you're not feeling great.
That's awful.
Yeah, and JFK also has back pain.
Yeah.
And he's campaigning and he's up on his feet all day, hitting the pavement.
Poor guy.
Shaking hands. And he wins the Democratic primary with 42% of the vote and then defeats his Republican opponent with 73% of the vote.
Whoa.
So he's in Congress.
He's in Congress in a big way. Those are crazy numbers.
I know. Now let's talk about Congress.
Okay.
JFK did not like being in Congress. He really didn't like it. He had one of the highest absentee rates of any member in Congress ever.
Dude, he's so you.
Some of I really feel like reading this. I was like, I am JFK.
I'm worried
coded.
you're extremely JFK coded.
I'm so JFK coded. Like, and I'm worried that this is gonna end with me getting shot in the head.
He has a tummy ache and doesn't want to show up to Congress. He doesn't want to show up to work. And has a tummy
job
ache.
he campaigned for, by the way. A job he openly campaigned for.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of like tummy ache rich kid.
I gotta get my plan to Congress.
Literally.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, obviously some of this was because of his like his chronic illness.
Because he's sick.
But he also hated just being in Congress.
Yeah.
He was more interested in being a writer than a politician.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't like his Congress counterparts and how preoccupied they were with their own narrow political concerns.
Okay.
He found the bureaucracy which prevented bills from being passed annoying. Like he didn't like the actual parts of being a politician of like cutting deals, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like you have to like be like, I'll be on your bill or whatever if you be on mine.
Which is like, that would make me crazy.
Or people not passing things because they're like, oh, my constituents or my campaign like managers or like promoters or donors wouldn't like it, whatever. Yeah, I would hate it too.
That's
but
so
I also
irritating.
the difference is I didn't campaign to be in Congress yet. One day I'm
holding
gonna run.
out.
There's no way I would ever win for like on the municipal scale in my neighborhood.
You probably wouldn't win in your neighborhood, but I think you could win in a different.
Yeah, I'd have to move to a different neighborhood. It'd have to be JFK coded of being like I'm moving somewhere where like the NDPs would already win.
Yeah,
and then I could hop on the ballot. But in my thing, they'd be like they would hate me.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
So he serves for 6 years in Congress. His focus is on international affairs, public housing, supporting unions, and he had a large constituency of Italian people in his writing.
Well,
so
that feeling when you're Catholic.
That feeling when you're Catholic.
The Italians are also Catholic.
Exactly.
Duh.
Dadoy. So he supports legislation which basically gives aid to Italy at this time. Post World War II. A big thing. And a lot of people were like, he's like, yeah, because his also a big platform of his, it's also like, again, we're coming into like, it's like 40s, 50s, 60s, very anti-communist.
Mm-hmm.
So a big thing at that time is like, we're going to provide aid to Italy so they don't become communist because it's a destabilized area right now. Like it could very easily become communist.
For sure.
And so he's providing a lot of aid to Italy. He also signs a bill which forces communists to register with the government.
He's cool as fuck.
The social scene in Washington loves him despite his absentee kind of not at work vibe.
No, he is so
he is a party. He's not like a party animal, but he is just like
he's a playboy.
He's a playboy.
Yeah,
exactly.
He's also still like extremely young at this point. Like he's like 30, 31. Yeah. So he's like a young buck politician, which like I feel like if you want an edge as a politician, just be under the age of 40.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I also was
all it
thinking
takes.
about this because Maggie Rogers' home in Maryland, because I grew up in Maryland, her home went on sale a while ago, and
Oh
if
my
you look at
God.
it, it's like, if anybody's ever from Maryland, and I'm saying this as somebody who also lived in Maryland, they are, if they don't live in like Baltimore, they are in some way rich. Like it's one of the richest states just per capita. Like a
That's
lot
crazy.
of people, like it's just like mansions.
Yeah.
And her house is like $4 million or $5 million.
Oh
Like it's crazy, crazy,
my
crazy.
God.
And she went to like a boarding school. Like she's very rich. And I was thinking about this because I'm like, I read an article. It's a crazy article. I don't know if you should read it. Like I'm not recommending it, but it was written by Elle because Maggie Rogers was a intern at Elle while she was doing that masterclass at NYU in songwriting when the Pharrell thing happened. And she quit her internship, obviously, after the Pharrell thing to be like, I've got to do music.
Yes.
And it's written by her editor at the time at Elle. And it's so kind of like jealousy coded.
Oh, God.
But like one of those things, it's very Hannah Horvath, honestly.
That's awesome.
And that it's like being like, was really jealous of this teenager, basically. But because I'm openly talking about it in the article, it's okay. When you're like, it's weird.
That's a little weird.
It's a little weird.
Also, you're an editor at Elle. Aren't you fine?
Well, it's very strange.
Yeah.
But it was talking a lot about how like she was just so sure of herself. Like Maggie Rogers like would come in and would just like really think, and not in like a ruffling feathers way, but just really was like, my opinion matters and I deserve to be here. So like there was another editor named Maggie, and at one time in like a meeting they asked Maggie what she thought, and then Maggie Rogers answered even though she was like an intern, so it doesn't like really matter. You know what I mean? Just like somebody who's like very self-assured, very whatever. And I was talking to Reese about it, and I'm like, there is just something, obviously, if you already come from wealth, you have a support system that's like, you know, you can't be stated the privilege of just like, even if you don't have connections in the industry you want, just knowing that you can fail, having your parents be able to support you, whatever. But there's also another level of privilege that just comes from being very comfortable in environments.
Oh yeah,
like
for
knowing
sure.
how to conduct yourself, or even if you don't, just being very confident in yourself.
Feeling like you belong there. Like,
yes,
that's such a barrier. And as I get older, I notice it more and more, where it's just like one of the biggest barriers of people just feeling like I shouldn't be here, even though like you have just as much a right to be here as anyone else.
I agree. I feel like that's, if I were to give like a talk at a university, one of the things I would be like is just be like, no one should be anywhere.
Yeah.
Like 50% of the people who have any kind of job that you're like, oh my God, they're so self-assured, like they just got it by luck. Like so much of life is just luck.
Yeah.
So it's like you deserve to be here more than anyone else. And that doesn't mean you should be kind and easy to work with and humble and hardworking and all these things.
Yeah.
But like you don't have to have a complex.
No.
So I think that when I think about JFK, if JFK I'm JFK coded, but JFK is also Maggie Rogers coded. I'm just being like, if you're wealthy, you're also just confident. Like I'm sure he just likes talking. You know what I mean? Like he's easy to talk to. He's also in, like, if your mom is like a rich woman who just throws a bunch of parties, then when you go to these parties, you just know how to be there, as opposed to being like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. Well, and even just like canoodling with the upper crust is a whole different skill set in itself.
Definitely.
Like, it's a real weird scene out there, guys. It's a real weird scene.
So at this point, he's also deciding whether or not he wants to run for governor of Massachusetts or for the Senate.
Cool.
And he decides on Senate because he thought that the governor, quote, sat in an office handing out sewer contracts.
That's awesome.
Get him. So he decides to run for Senate. Let's talk about his Senate campaign.
Okay.
So he begins preparing for the Senate run, which would be in 1952, as early as 1949. Prepares ahead of time, obviously. And you know that Daddy Joe Sr. thrilled.
Yes.
Ready to bankroll.
Absolutely.
Ready to bankroll.
Yeah.
As he sees
Happy
fit.
as a clam.
Yes. So
Joe Jr. Who?
Yeah. Exactly. My son, I'm Joe Sr., but there was never a Joe Jr.
No.
It's been JFK the whole time.
JFK the whole time.
What are you talking about?
Jack Fitzgerald.
Exactly. Kennedy. So Joe Sr. persuades the Boston Post to switch its support to JFK as like the Senate candidate.
That's so cool.
By promising them a $500,000 loan. $500,000.
What the fuck?
In like the 50s.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's so like, and that's
That's
the other
bananas.
thing. It's like, because I also think like when we talk about rich people, we don't talk about like the sliding scale of rich people.
know.
Like, because you know people that are like rich, you know, I went to boarding school or whatever, which is like pretty rich, but it's like the Kennedys are like rich.
Unfathomable.
The Kennedys are rich.
That is like true wealth. And
yeah, it's
like,
just money to throw around. It's like
Yeah.
it's like buying your kid a record deal rich.
Yes.
You know?
100
So his campaign manager is RFK, aka Bobby.
Stop. No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. How did I
And
know
by the way,
that?
not RFK Jr. Hate him. But RFK Sr., hot. Look at a picture of
Bobby
him.
Kennedy.
Bobby Kennedy's is hot. Because this is the whole kind of thing. And obviously people are going to disagree with me because I'm talking from my impression, which is whatever. Obviously Bobby also ends up simply assassinated. Spoiler alert. But Bobby Kennedy, I think, was the real kind of promising Kennedy in terms of kind of, as we talked about before, establishing this Babylon of just like an American dynasty.
Yeah.
Because he was way more left-leaning than Joe. Very, very charismatic. And he was very, very handsome. So it's like, he was kind of the thing where like, okay, yeah, JFK, president, yes.
Oh my God, he's so hot.
He's so hot.
Oh my God.
Actually.
What a cutie.
I know. So, you know, what happened to Bobby is a real tragedy because I think like, we often talk about the JFK assassination as like a real turning point in history, but I really think like we would be in a different world if Bobby wasn't assassinated because he was just so like left-leaning, environmental, and just like he had the charisma to win. Like he was eventually going to have a very successful career in politics.
Yeah. That's cool.
Rose and the Kennedy sisters also help JFK's Senate campaign by hosting a series of teas across Massachusetts in different like hotels, basically mobilizing upper class young women to vote.
Awesome.
So
he believes in women.
As long as they vote for him.
As long as they vote for him and they're rich.
Exactly.
And they're hot. And they sell you one single cigarette.
Exactly.
That's what women are good for.
Like grandfather, like grandson.
Yes.
Nobody can say no to a cigarette girl. So the campaign slogan was, Kennedy will do more for Massachusetts.
Yes.
And he wins the seat by 70,000 votes. It's a pretty big margin.
That's huge.
And he's 36 when he gets elected as senator.
Okay.
Shortly after his election, he marries Jackie, which we're not going to talk about in this episode.
No, we're going to do a Jackie episode.
But I just thought, so you kind of get the timeline of he marries Jackie, who's 24 at the time. Love. Obsessed. I guess that age gap is fine. She's 24. Like, her brain is cooked. It's just
she's 24 and he's 36.
Yeah. It's not amazing, but it's not like, you know, she could be 19. You know what I mean? Like, it could be worse.
Yeah, it could be worse.
I'm not obsessed.
But I get
it's
it.
also the past.
When
like,
I
feel
was,
like it's also the 50s, so it's also like I can't be judgmental. Like,
be
there's so many problems.
Honest though, like you don't want to know the age range my Tinder was on when I was 23.
When I was before I was with Reese, I was like, I'll date somebody who was 40.
Same.
I'll do it.
I wanted it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go out with anyone under the age of 30.
You're Jackie coded.
I'm worried I'm really problematic.
Guys,
I'm like, that's disgusting.
But I did it. But this is actually the psyche. I want everyone to kind of notice this. Whenever somebody says something,
it's because that's
who they are. Anytime somebody's like, that's insane, it's like because they do that.
Yeah. I wanted a minimum 8-year age gap. Because also I was like, I didn't want to talk to 25-year-olds.
Well, this is how I feel.
Terrible.
I'm like, what did people my age have to offer me?
Yeah.
Nothing.
100%.
Zero.
100%.
But that's bad, guys.
Yeah. A lot. Any 30-year-old that wants, or 35-year-old who wants to date anyone younger than like 28.
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
You gotta look hard at that.
Yeah, so fucking weird. It's not.
Anyway,
it's fine. It's fine if your boyfriend's 31, though.
It's fine if your boyfriend's 31
and you're 25.
Yeah,
in many ways, it's actually activism.
It's actually effective. It's actually fun if you're 29 and your girlfriend's 26. That's fine too. That's normal.
Oh yeah.
Fuck, I'm not even 29. I'm 30.
You're literally just exposing yourself.
I know.
I think when your brain is cooked at like 24, 25, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I mean, just obviously be aware of whatever, but I think if you're like, if you're 24, 25, you can make your own decisions. I don't know what's going on with him and Jackie. I feel like we're going to do an episode on it, and I'm going to be like, never mind. But
oh yeah,
age gaps are
for
hard,
sure. It's for sure weird. I don't know if it was weird because of the age gap though. Like I'm sure it played into it, but like I think there was
feel like he just had a lot
on.
more clout than her because again, it's like the Kennedys. So like women are raised with this idea of being like, you're here to support your husband.
Yes, 100%.
You know, she's very much Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, but it's the Secret Lives of Catholic wives.
Yes, 100%.
It's like, Jackie, you're here to put on an amazing outfit. You're here to get a Boohoo sponsorship.
You're here to put on a little hat.
What sponsorships do you think Jackie would do?
Oh, majority.
If she was now. Yes.
I think she'd be into like tiny gold chains.
Yep.
from a jury. I also think she would do probably like what's that? Everlane?
Yeah. She'd be Everlane. I think she'd be kind of like, she would have a makeup line, obviously. She'd be kind of Hailey Bieber coded in that way.
Yeah, it'd be like a road.
She'd have her own, she'd have Jackie.
Jack.
Oh, because it's Jack and Jackie. I think Jack would be cute.
Or be like Beauvoir.
Yeah.
Beauvoir, Jack and Jackie.
Yeah, or she'd have like a
duo perfumes.
Yeah. Book club, probably.
Oh, God, yeah.
Kind of a Dua Lipa style book club.
Yes, 100%.
I think she'd have a podcast that'd be really boring.
Mm-hmm. But people would listen to it.
Oh, yeah, but it'd be very boring.
It'd be very, very boring, really unentertaining.
Yeah.
And she would like interview people and you sort of be like, huh.
Yes.
Like pseudoscience doctors,
like,
you know, like.
Okay.
Okay, cool. You got the moon landing denier after your husband like did the speech about the moon landing. Like,
yes,
okay.
It'd be very that.
Like really kind of like, okay, girl.
Cool, go for it, Jackie.
Go for it, queen.
So at the time, Jackie is a writer with the Washington Times Herald. She's their photo girl. And from what I read about this, it seems that her job was to ask people kind of questions and then take their picture right as they answer it. And
That's
kind of
awesome.
like, it's like kind of like puff piece, but it's kind of like Humans of New York.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of that where she'd be like, she asked like a president's 6-year-old daughter right as he was elected, being like, what do you think about that? And then like take her picture. You know, that kind of thing. Of like,
she was man on the street, but
she was
like
man on the
before
street.
she had a phone.
Yes, she was man on the street. She was, what's your body count?
What's your body count? Is your dad proud of you?
For $1, name a woman.
For $1, name anyone.
Yes. So they met at a dinner party hosted by a mutual friend who was a journalist. And it was said, like, the story is like, he leaned over and asked her to pass the asparagus and then asked her on a date.
Aww.
But what's weird about this when I was reading, because I just typed in that I was like seeing like what this quote was from. And Jackie Kennedy is obsessed with asparagus. So when this story comes out, I'm kind of like, is this just like you inserting your fucking obsession with asparagus? Like, there's like 7 different Jackie Kennedy asparagus recipes.
Weird.
Asparagus is her favorite fucking food.
Dude, her piss must smell
crazy. Yeah.
What? Ew.
It's to the point where when she doesn't eat asparagus, she thinks her piss smells weird.
Yeah. She's like, uh-oh.
Because she's used to it.
Neutral smelling.
Weird.
Disease.
Exactly. So also at this time, right after the couple gets married, Jack's back starts to really hurt again, and he has 2 major back operations. At one point during one of these back operations, he's read his last rites. Like, they're like, he's going to die.
Oh my God.
But like, he's had like a lot of health scares. When he was recovering from the first surgery, he writes his book Profiles in Courage, which is about U.S. senators who risked their careers to fight for what they believed in.
Wow.
This is the book that wins the Pulitzer Prize for biography in 1957.
Whoa.
So he's I think he's the only U.S. president who's won a Pulitzer Prize.
Whoa.
Which is very wild.
That's cool.
It's revealed in 2008 that this was ghostwritten by his speechwriter and advisor. What's his name? Ted Sorensen. Ted Sorensen said this in his 2008 autobiography. But, you know.
That's rough.
What can you do? He still wrote speeches with him, so I guess he was on for the ride. And this kind of gave him this kind of reputation as a scholarly senator. It's like he loves reading. He's a writer. He's very smart. All these like this focus on like a smart young man.
Smart young man.
Nixon had him like on a panel to basically pick a bunch of senators to be put in the Senator Hall of Fame, stuff like that. Like just kind of climbing up the ranks. He was very open at this time that the Senate was just seen as an interlude to his presidential run. It's like something he had to do before he ran for president.
Dude, he's cool for that.
Yes, his main work consisted of bringing jobs / keeping jobs in Massachusetts. All-time classic for any politician being like, I'm bringing jobs back to Massachusetts. He also stimulated the local economy, and he had a big hit in making sure that the shoreline of Cape Cod remained unsullied by development, which environmentally is good, but in a larger way, it's also like it can be sullied by single-family homes of the rich.
Yeah, that's fine.
But those are people that you really, I mean, those people were like,
just no apartment buildings.
Yeah, don't put a fucking gross apartment building where poor people can live.
Ew,
That's fucking gross.
Keep it to the mansions.
Exactly. The mansions are really cute. Did you see that?
Cute.
So Taylor Swift obviously has a house on Cape Cod.
Yeah.
And that they found a body like buried like right off the property because there's like a Cape Cod serial killer right now.
Wait, that's insane.
Yeah.
There's a Cape Cod serial killer?
Yeah.
Damn it. I wanted to go there.
Well, we can go there.
I don't want to go there if there's a serial killer
Well,
and killer.
he has a couple of flops while he's in Senate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
One is when the Senate voted to condemn McCarthy in 1945. JFK is the only Democrat not to vote against him. We don't know how he would have voted because he was absent on account of back surgery again.
Damn.
He had a speech written in support of condemning McCarthy, but this was never delivered.
Okay.
Prior to the back surgery, even.
Rough.
And he's never revealed how he was gonna vote because again, he was very anti-communist. But we'll never know which way he would have went. Whatever. He also votes against the Civil Rights Act of 1957, which is basically meant to increase and support voter rights, especially in the South, for Black Americans, like trying to make it so that there's less like huge barriers.
And he voted against it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Bobby later said, we weren't thinking of the outdated term for Black people of Mississippi or Alabama and what should be done for them. We were thinking of what needed to be done in Massachusetts. So there's a lot of like, he was not very great with like outreach to Black Americans specifically because Massachusetts is so kind of like white and
I'm realizing
weirdly racist. I think
he might
in a
be
way.
like a real face of like the Democrats kind of abandoning the South.
Definitely.
Not saying he's the first to do it, but like, damn, I'm like, oh, I'm kind of understanding a bit more why the South went so Republican.
Yeah. Well, there's like no work done down there, you know?
That's rough.
Yes. So Kennedy also hated being a senator. He hated being a congressman. He also hated being a senator, of course.
What a king. He hates his life.
He hates his life. He called being a senator the most corrupting job in the world. He hated how quickly his counterparts cut deals with each other and how they wanted to please their campaign contributors. A lot of people who were mad at Kennedy for saying this were like, well, yeah, like your campaign is funded by your dad.
Yeah.
So like I have to make my campaign contributors happy.
That's really funny.
But you don't.
Yeah.
But there is something kind of, you know, good about that too. It's
Have
like,
they tried having a rich daddy?
yeah, why don't you just call your dad up and
Why
ask
don't
for
you
some
call
money?
your
A
dad?
small
Ring,
loan
ring,
of $1 million.
papa. Just a little quick mill.
Yes. So the majority leader at the time was Lyndon Johnson, and he did not really like Jack. He thought of him as a playboy.
Oh, damn.
He described his performance in the Senate and the House as pathetic. He said that JFK was smart enough, but he doesn't like to do the grunt work. In 1956, JFK makes a bid for the VP spot.
Ooh.
But he loses out and he was not selected. But in the end, Eisenhower won this election. So in a way, it was a kind of blessing in disguise or a gift because it's like oftentimes if you're a VP candidate for a losing campaign, your political career often you can't just like
done.
it's hard to once you lose, they're like, well, you lost.
Yeah.
So
And
you're
you,
not running again.
can't really like upward mobilize from there.
Yeah. So in a way, this actually helped because he obviously went on to have a much greater political career than these people, and also he kind of Obama'd in a way where like he gave a big speech when he was bidding for this VP spot at the Democratic National Convention. Even though he didn't win, everyone was like, that guy, I like him.
Yeah.
Like it kind of, you know how like, because that was what happened with Obama too. Like he gave a big speech at the Democratic National Convention. Everyone was like, who's this guy?
Yeah. Who's him?
So he kind of did that, where it's like, then they were like, he should run. Like he already was kind of in the zeitgeist already from being like a senator, congressman, rubbing shoulders with other people in Washington. And then he gives this big speech at the Democratic National Convention, and they're like, he's a front runner then for the nomination when it comes time to run in 1960.
Yeah. Cool.
So that's where we are, basically. In 1958, Kennedy is reelected to the Senate with 73.6% of the vote, which is the largest winning margin in the history of Massachusetts politics.
Oh my God.
In the aftermath of his reelection, he goes on a tour across the United States giving speeches, which is seen as kind of the launch of his beginning to campaign for the presidency, even though he's not openly campaigning yet. But he's going on a tour of the states. And that's really where we're ending this episode in terms of the story. We're all there.
What a guy.
I know.
Holy shit. Okay. Well,
do you want to do...
Let's do it.
Let's make this tragedy about us. This is the part of the show where we take the tragedy and we make it about us. It's not really a tragedy at the moment.
Well, his back surgeries are a tragedy.
Definitely.
Jesus Christ. This guy's so ill.
My question to you is, what kind of senator or congressman or woman, I guess, do you think you would be? Were you in that situation? You have to be. It's kind of a JFK situation where like you are going to be a politician.
Yes.
Regardless.
Like, honestly, I think I would probably be like really public facing, but like not very actually do a ton of work.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I would be doing a lot of like public appearances trying to sway opinion, but like I don't actually sit down and write the bills.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think I could also see being a bit of AOC coded in that I think you would be a real kind of thorn in the more conservative constituents side. Like somebody would be like, you're a bitch, and you'd be like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like I think you could really like
Yeah.
stick to your kind of guns and the issues that you've decided to run upon.
I also could see the other thing is like I could be someone who like is really like a one issue kind of person.
Yeah, I can see that.
And like I like that's just my thing. Like
Yeah.
I go in and I'm like it's like affordable housing or something.
And that's your
like,
thing, and you're like, well, I'll sign
Yeah.
your bill, but I need you to
Yeah.
then help me with my affordable housing bill.
Yeah. Because then I feel like great political careers I think are kind of built on that.
Yeah.
I'm playing it down a little bit. I actually have been like I've always said that I would have loved to get into politics.
Well, there's still time.
I don't think it's gonna happen now. But like
You still
oh,
could.
it'd be cool.
Don't say,
You
never say never. You could do it in like your 50s.
Yeah, maybe.
I told you that thing that on a podcast, there was like a campaign manager talking about how apparently it's actually better if you're running and you've already been a public figure.
Yes.
Because I was worried. I was like, well, I can never run for office. I've said crazy shit online for years and years and years.
Yeah, but they don't care.
They're kind of like, well, yeah, like you're a performer. Like you're just saying crazy shit online.
Yeah, 100%. Like
Where
there's
it's like-
so much of it, it's harder to comb through.
Exactly. And like I could just be like, well, it's a podcast. Like I was just like saying stuff.
Okay,
where
you're
it's like if it's
saying
a
whatever.
private Twitter account where you're just saying racist shit, they're
It's
like, oh,
that's
you just think that.
crazy. Yeah,
Like
100%.
you just actually think that. Where I'm
yeah,
like,
you were
it's a
tweeting this to your 12 followers.
Exactly, where it's like I could just be like, oh, I'm on a comedy podcast.
Yeah.
So when I said that we should like enslave men, obviously I was joking.
Obviously, I was joking. It
Have
was
a laugh.
silly little bit. Have a laugh with us.
I honestly think, even though I do believe Doug Ford to be very evil, I really, really think if because he's like the premier of Ontario, I think if in a political sense I was, going up against him, I think I could really kind of lull him into a false sense of security.
Mm-hmm.
And like kind of, I feel like I could do good work there.
I honestly could see you being almost like a Doug Ford before the NDP.
Yeah.
In the way
Eating
that
a bee
like
on TV.
well, pardon?
Eating a bee on TV.
Well, yeah, like just kind of like because Doug Ford, it's a shame.
He's
that
Ontario's
he is,
premier.
like,
If you
he's-
don't know, he's like our governor.
Our governor of Ontario, basically, and he's just like he's so bumbling. He's the brother of Rob Ford,
who smoked
was
crack.
who was the Toronto mayor who smoked crack, who went viral and stuff like that. But like
Yeah.
he's so bumbling. Like he ate a bee. Like he would get out. He was like when there was a snowstorm, he was shoveling snow with this like tiny child-sized shovel.
Yeah, he's just
like
he's giving us media. Like he really is just like
he is very funny. And then when all the tariff stuff was happening, he was honestly kind of a king about it because he was just like, okay, well then we're not carrying any American beer. Like he's so obsessed with beer.
he's
It's actually
obsessed with
crazy.
beer. Yeah.
Like all of his legislation is like beer-based legislation. And
when
so
he
he's
was
like,
when he was campaigning to be elected, his thing was like a buck of beer. So
Yeah.
beer would be $1. Didn't happen, by the way.
No.
Not a thing that ever happened.
beer was not $1. That doesn't work that way.
You can't just it's literally like a child running for class president where you're like,
Yeah.
oh, we'll have pizza every Friday. And it's like, well, you don't actually have the ability to do that.
You
So I don't
actually
know why
do
you're
that.
promising that.
No,
You
100%.
think I could be like I could be like a leftist Doug Ford.
You could be a leftist Doug Ford in the way that like you be like beer and convenience stores because he did get beer and convenience stores, which
Say what you
has
will.
been huge. Say what you will. But then the other thing, like he's just kind of like he gets on TV and is just like kind of like okay, fuck you. Like I think you
Yeah.
could be that, but like leftist.
I think that there is a kind of power in presenting as a bit of a dummy. Even if you're
Yes.
not, like I always think of like one of the most powerful moments in the US election was when Kamala just laughed in Trump's face like 5 times. Obviously it didn't pan out how we wanted it to pan out, but like
know.
I think that the reason Doug Ford is effective is because like he just kind of, exactly, he's just kind of like the popular kind of weird drug dealer guy at your school. Like, you know what I mean? Like he just translated that to politics.
Yeah.
And the way you kind of work with those guys is you like appeal to their ego, but then also you just play high school. Like that's him playing high school where when
Yeah.
like America installs tariffs, he's like, okay,
yeah.
we're not carrying your beer.
No, that's 100% when he's just like okay, no more American liquor, no more American beer, and just cleaned it out. So now you can't get
It's like he took
American
it out
beer.
of the store. They took it out of the store.
no. And like literally they cleared it out.
Yeah.
It was honestly quite funny.
It was iconic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty iconic.
So I think I agree. There's something that appeals to me about that. If I'm like, well, at least you're playing a game.
Yes.
I don't agree with your politics in any way, but like, there's obviously a kind of like game that's being played here, and I think a lot of times in politics, like you're not gonna win by obviously there's this idea of being like, well, don't stoop down to their level, and I'm like, well,
But like, what else are you gonna do?
we have to, because if not, then they're just gonna get rid of like affordable housing and all these things.
100%.
So why not be like,
Why not just be a little bit of a crazy person
be a
about
little
it?
bit of a crazy person?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what if Sarah Palin was a leftist? Think about the power of that.
right?
You know what I mean?
I know. No, we're missing out on so many amazing opportunities because like we don't let anyone crazy Ron on the left.
Well, people always apologize too.
I know.
And I'm like,
stop apologizing. Be crazy.
well, like, and they're apologizing for shit that doesn't matter. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, I'm sorry, nude photos of me got leaked or whatever. And it's like, be like, yeah, you like it? Don't it look good? my body looks really good.
My body is amazing. My body is crazy.
Yeah.
No, we need someone who like goes into Parliament and just says like, I'm not signing your bill till we have dental. No
what are you
bill's
gonna do?
till dental.
No bill's till dental.
No bill's till dental. What are you gonna do?
And then it's like me posting it, and then I do a TikTok dance every day. It's like I'm doing a dance every single day until we have dental.
No one's doing that.
Yeah. I should run for office.
You should. You honestly should.
I don't think I'd win, but
Carley for mayor.
But eventually I think I could.
Carley for mayor.
Definitely. I told you that one time I was in an Uber and the Uber driver was just going off saying crazy racist, horrible shit. He was black. I feel like I should just say that. Like, that's why I didn't jump in and say stop being racist. I was like, I don't understand
the dynamics.
I don't know. And he was like, I hate Olivia Chow, who's our mayor.
Mm-hmm.
She just came out of nowhere. And I wanted to be like, she was married to the head of the NDP. Like,
yeah,
she ran for a lead of the NDP. Like, she's very much been around.
You're allowed to have problems with the mayor, but you can't deny that she's been around. She's been around for like 50 years.
My friend Omar went to his friend's, like, he has a friend who's like a photographer, his birthday party, and it was just 6 people at Olivia Chow's house.
Oh,
and it was just Olivia Chow,
oh my God,
her boyfriend, Omar, his friend, and then like a couple.
Okay, that's
and I was
so
like,
fucking
what
cool.
is her house like? Tell me everything. And he was just not being helpful. Love him dearly, but I was like, I actually wanted pictures.
No, men are so bad with stuff like this.
How, like, were there, like, how many Jack Layton pictures were there?
Also, like, was the house big? Was it crazy?
Where was it? Yeah, I wanted picture. I wanted photos of the inside. I wanted, what kind of soap does she use?
Because she lives in Chinatown, right?
I think so, yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. That's like a cool place to live as a politician.
Definitely. I like her. I mean, she's not perfect,
like
but I do think she's a good person.
Yeah. Whatever.
And I'm gonna say this, and then it's gonna be like, by the time this comes out, this is recorded until it comes out, she's gonna like have said something
canceled.
said some crazy shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God. I had a breakdown once and I left. The only time I've ever like left an Instagram group chat in like anger was when somebody would add Olivia Chow. If you add Olivia Chow, the mayor, you remember this?
Was I in this group chat?
Yes, you were.
Because that was
because if you add the mayor,
it was the most annoying thing in the world.
Somebody added the mayor, her like account, her Instagram account to this group chat on Instagram. And every time somebody knew, because if you sent your message, like every time somebody sent a message, the next message would be like, "Hi, I'm Olivia Chow." Like it was a bot basically like being like, "I'm
like,
Olivia Chow, mayor in Toronto. Thanks for messaging me."
Yeah.
And then somebody would be like, "What's going on?" "Hi, I'm Olivia Chow, mayor in Toronto. Thank you for sending me a message." And I'm like, "Guys, what the fuck?" "Hi, I'm Olivia Chow." And I was like so annoyed, and I removed her, and then somebody added her back in, and it was just like so weirdly
horrible.
annoying to me specifically that I had to leave.
No, but that kind of bit, it's like, this isn't even funny. Especially
because we were trying to make a plan.
Well, especially if you're the person who's trying to make a plan, and then there's like people there who just want to make a fucking meme in the group chat.
Yes.
And not help make the plan at all. It's like, well, sorry, then this is why, if you know what, like, fuck you. Because some of us are trying to actually make something fun for you to do happen.
Exactly.
And you're being mean at the sake of the world's stupidest joke.
I do also have like such a weird like it's fine until it isn't, specifically about jokes, where it's like I love to have fun, but I get really mad when I think we're having a serious conversation. And not serious like gravely serious, but I think we're having a real conversation.
Yeah.
And somebody gives a joke answer. Like I fume if I'm like,
oh no, I can't
if I'm
stand
like,
that.
you know, what's your favorite food? And then you're like, brains. I'm like, well, I wanted to know.
Yeah.
And now you've been a dick. And now I'm mad at you.
I once had someone say to me, like, we did a show together and it was someone I hadn't seen in like a while who like I'd literally known for like 10 years. And when we were leaving, I was like outside Comedy Bar and I was like, it was so nice to see you. It was great to do a show with you. I hope like we see each other soon. And he's like, oh yeah, I hope we see each other soon. Oh yeah, like so great to see a show with you. And I was like,
didn't he go like that's a character?
Well, no, that's what he said. And I was like,
person who says it's great to see like somebody like
that's literally what he did. Where I was just kind of like, oh, and I was like, what? And he was like, oh no, you know, it's just like that's like a thing people say. That's like a character who says that. And I was like, no, that's just me saying that it was nice to see you. Are you
okay?
Good, it was so fucking weird.
So I try to hold a bit of grace for people who kind of do that in an uncomfortable situation. Like if we're having a conversation and maybe they just like don't know how to navigate it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's pretty easy to be like, oh, nice to see you too.
It was
like
normal.
it's not like a weird kind of maze of a conversation where I think sometimes people, especially people in like comedy, will err on the side of comedic when they don't know how to be real.
Yeah, like being
But I'm
silly.
like, you can just say bye.
100%. You could just say like, oh yeah, you too. Well, and on that note.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Oh my God, person who's so thankful that you listened.
It's a character.
That's kind of what people say. It's like
on a podcast when they're like, thank you guys so much for listening.
It's like your person who's on a podcast who's like, thank you guys so much for listening.
Right? Like we've all heard that.
We've all heard that. Like people who say that, like that's like such a character.
It's such a character.
Can I have that? Can I have that for
You
a
can have
POV?
that, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, bye, love you.
Bye, love you.